Good evening, Belchertown. It is being 7 o'clock. We are welcoming you to our August 11th Planning Board meeting. Reasonably light agenda tonight, which is good because we're minus our chair, Mr. Bodette, so I'll be filling in for him, and colleagues nudge me if I get anything wrong. Tonight we have two ANRs to look at, one of which is an amended one that we looked at last week, so that should be pretty simple. And we have a new one on Hamilton Street, and we have three discussion items. Woodland Lane, and we have guests here for that. And then a discussion with our planner on a change in schedule of uses that we're aiming to get on the special town meeting agenda. And then we're going to discuss the quad board meeting scheduled for August 24th. So I think we will, should we start with our online guest and do the new A&R, or shall we just?
I recommend that, yeah.
Okay. So we have a new A&R with a few questions for our surveyor. This is on Hamilton Street and Magnolia Lane, maps 238, lot 288, and map 239, lot 34. And possibly there'll be another map in, another lot in there after we've gone through this. So this is a little bit complicated because we have 5 Form As associated with the application. One listing Wayne Broner and Virginia Broner, if I'm pronouncing their name correctly, as Bronner? Bronner, as owner applicants. The second listing Mark and Marion Bronner as owner applicants. The third listing applicant Raymond Broner. The fourth, Lynn Gregoire as owner applicant. And the fifth, Deborah Tolsdorf. However, the owner of record on both the Hampshire Register of Deeds and Belchertown's GIS is Marie Bronner for both map 238, lot 288, and map 239, lot 34. And so has there been a change in ownership which is not yet recorded?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
I believe Marie Bronner is no longer with us, and this is in an estate. And all the owner applicants are her children.
Okay. And so that's one of the complications.
So my first question, has the estate been probated and in fact the ownership passed on to these 5? Or is that still contestable?
I don't know the answer to that, sir.
So we don't know who actually owns the property at this point in time.
It's Marie Bronner's estate, and again, it's their children. I know that I got contacted by an attorney to do this work, to help to settle the estate, and I definitely can't answer your question as to whether it's been probated or not, but in the eyes of the attorney, this is the right thing to do so these heirs can settle up this land.
Well, we have, I mean, the A&R that we're revisiting from last time involved not having clarity on the owner versus the applicant, and we held off on voting that, or we...
This to me is an even murkier situation in that there could be 5 more people come forward, contest the probate, and say, no, they own the property. So I'm concerned that a lawyer would, well, I don't really care if the lawyer says he thinks it's a good idea. Until the estate is actually probated and these people become the official owners, then I'm concerned about trying to divvy up property.
Well, with all due respect, the planning board is not divvying up the property. The planning board is looking at this plan to see if it meets the approval not required standards, which it does. And what happens after this plan were to get endorsed, it will have no bearing on your board or any board that would sign something like this.
That's a good point, especially in light of some of the recent land court decisions on the A&R process itself. Holy
So
mackerel.
and the Mylar actually says the estate of Raymond Bronner, as opposed to Marie.
Again, we're talking semantics here. I mean, I've told people in the past, I could put prepared for Bozo the Clown, and it doesn't really matter. You guys are not deciding title. You are deciding whether this plan meets the ANR standards for the state of Massachusetts.
You looking something up, or should I?
I'm just, go ahead, continue.
So, then I have another question. So, the A&R, and actually, let me pass these out. This is the wrong one.
Wouldn't technically the application just not be complete?
Well, it seems similar to what we voted down last time. So, Mark, can I shove this down your way?
Thank you.
Ready to look at that. So, the A&R indicates map 238, lot 288 will become parcel 2 and be of 24.298 acres. And it's labeled not to be considered a separate building lot. The town's GIS shows current lot 288 at 19 acres, and it abutting map 238, lot 289, which is a separate 5.5 acres, also owned by Marie Bronner. I couldn't find a previous A&R which merged these two lots into one of the 24.29 acres. So if this A&R is removing a lot line to make 288 one lot, shouldn't Form A indicate that there are three existing lots rather than two? And that they,
So, yeah, I'm confused, and I'm gonna try to get the assessor's map up without losing you guys.
okay.
So bear with me a moment. You're still there, that's a good
Yep.
sign.
Yeah. I printed it out. I doubt I'd be able to get you to see it, though.
I'm fine, I've got two screens, I'll get it. Just give me a
Okay,
minute.
so,
What's the fastest route to the GIS?
Well, it's the same company that Hadley uses, so you could do the Hadley
The
one.
assessors?
Yeah, the online, the Access GIS. So just, you could open Hadley's if you have it handy and just replace the word Hadley with Belchertown.
so just so you can see
But
this
Where
line.
do I find it on your website?
On our
Under
website.
residents,
Here he is.
if you're at belchertown.org, is it under residents? That there's the GIS mapping, roads and GIS?
Bring my computer. It's Access.
All right, hold
I
on.
guess it's probably in the planning board.
Yeah, if you did, if you, yeah, you can find it there.
I think, okay, I got it.
So sometimes the GIS lags behind, but we haven't certainly done
No.
anything with that. property, with that lot line.
And when you opened it up, it was showing us two.
Yeah, it showed it as two, one at 19 and one at 5.5.
Same owner?
Same owner, who is now deceased.
All right, I see what you're talking about, the 289 and the 288 on the GIS, and that's probably two parcels, it's two parcels in the deed.
Right,
There's no ANR plan, it's all part of the same deed.
It's two here.
No, but this is letting over here.
right, but the Form A should not say two existing lots, then it should say one. Well, I didn't see removing a lot, which is a line, which is usually on the Mylars.
See what I can, I don't know if I have a good answer for that. And we definitely combined both of them into one, and.
But is that
I
what,
can- Yeah, I mean, if it's gonna satisfy the board, I can certainly add that line back in.
and change the number of existing lots?
Can we do that without having to get all the owners signed again?
I think we can change that ourselves, yeah.
And do we assume that we'll get another Mylar with that line in that's, we can then take out? So should we talk about postponing until the next meeting?
You can ask the applicant's representative what he thinks.
So, the, I can't recall what the deed says. I'm assuming that there's the two parcels there, that's why it shows up the way it does. So,
It's certainly, when you went to the card, it had it as a separate 5.5 acre lot.
yeah, and again, it's been a while since I did this, so I'd have to look at it again. I mean, at the end of the day, what's it gonna accomplish? And again, I'll be happy to work with you folks, I just wanna make sure we don't do something that is not necessary.
Well, it might be two deeds, because a lot of these historical things, if they've never been surveyed, are just sort of random pieces of land that have been
Collected.
handed over to people through generations. This could be something like that. I don't know.
When do you folks meet again? Do you meet twice monthly or just once?
Twice,
2 weeks.
second and fourth.
Okay, so I don't think 2 weeks is gonna make a difference to my clients. If you feel better if I draw that line on there and then make a note that it's to be removed kind of thing, and then put the appropriate assessor's map parcel on there, will that satisfy you on that side of the railroad tracks?
It would satisfy me.
Yeah,
Are you looking through other
no,
things
no,
that-
no, I'm fine so far. So long as if the Mylar reflects the existing line, and then we hand change the number of lots even,
Yeah,
that would suffice for me, but I like the idea of resubmitting a Mylar that does in fact reflect
Like what?
we
Yeah.
currently have,
Yeah.
so that there's clarity on what's occurring.
Yeah, and remember that form is for our records.
I don't have an issue with that.
Okay,
Yeah, the form is for our records, where it's the plan is the object that
Right.
counts, yeah. So.
it would be best to have it reflect
Yeah, so
reality.
while you have him, go through it all, and is there
Yeah,
anything
let's-
else?
Okay, so the other chunk is oh, where am I? Map 239, Lot 34, on the other side of the railroad tracks. That is currently at 21 acres, and the ANR proposes to divide it into Lot A, which is in that corner, has the house on it and 1.02 acres, and parcel 1 at 20.2195 acres. That does not say remaining land, as it often does, but that doesn't seem to be an issue. That, any comments so far from the board?
Here's Lot A down here
Here.
that we're creating. There's a Lot A completely unrelated.
So this is parcel 31.
No, it's parcel 30.
Yeah, that's not related, that's
It's not related.
Yeah.
That-
So inside the
Parcel
bold line.
30 is, that's another family member, as are 31 and 32. So, yeah, what, are we gonna have 2 Lot As?
All right, I can certainly label that something differently if you feel that's going to be confusing. I see what you're saying. There's a Lot A up the road, so I can make it whatever.
Lot B, you know.
There's a Lot B over there.
How about 1A?
How about A1? Will that work?
A1 is fine.
Okay.
Okay, that's good catch, Mike, I hadn't noticed that one. So, for other business on this, we've got the locus and the north arrow on the Mylar. We've got a list of owner applicants: Wayne and Virginia Bronner, Raymond Bronner, Lynn Gregoire, Mark and Marion Bronner, and Deborah Tolsdorf are listed. We've got Harold Eaton and Associates as the surveyor, and Randall E. Iser's signature and stamp on the Mylar, dated May 6, 2026. And Harold Eaton is listed on the Form A. So,
We've got all the abutters marked.
yes, the abutters
Owners
are
and
marked.
Applicants of record, yeah.
Yes, and they're
Yeah.
owners/applicants. So, any other issues? So we'll postpone voting, right, until next time? But otherwise, I think if you fix the 2 Lot As, so that there's a Lot A and a Lot something else, and then deal with the
Discrepancy.
discrepancy in whether there were 2 lots up on 238 map.
Okay. So what I'm going to do, just so we're all clear, is I'll add that parcel line, and I'm just gonna say deed whatever parcel 1, parcel 2, or whatever it's called, and then I'm gonna put a note on there to be combined into one contiguous parcel shown as parcel 2. And I've changed the Lot A to Lot A1 already. I'm not in a position to do that other thing just right now. I want to make sure I get it right. And then I will make a new Mylar and prints and bring that into Mr. Albertson. And then you guys will have everything. We've talked about it all. And that should be good for your next meeting in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Yep.
We'll look forward to seeing you back.
Okay, well, maybe you won't need to see me back.
Yes. Okay, so we'll just bundle these up. Thank you for
Yeah,
clarifying all that.
you might as well give him the celebration of endorsing the Boyce Plan.
Yes, our next plan is one of yours as well, and we looked at that last time and had just the one complication of not having the owner listed on the Mylar, and they now are. So let me just get this rolled up and unroll.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you. So you weren't
I was
here
not.
for that one. So would you like me to go over it so that?
Yeah. it would
Yeah,
be
okay.
quick.
It's pretty simple.
Excellent.
Mark, you want to see it again, or? Okay. So this is over on Old Farm Circle, and let me just grab my notes. That. And it is, let's see.
Yeah.
The application lists Lot 7 as the existing lot of 3.04 acres, and the ANR will divide Lot 7 into Lots 1, 2, and 3. Lots 1 and 2 will both be approximately 40,000 square feet. Lot 1 has 276 feet of frontage and an existing house. Lot 2 will have 265 feet of frontage and will be a buildable lot. Lot 3, however, will be slightly larger, 1.02 acres, but having no frontage, is labeled not to be considered a buildable lot on the Mylar. And at this point, is it pretty clear to you?
Yep. Makes sense.
So, and on the amended Mylar, we now find Shelterwood Management LLC listed as the owner applicant. Harold L. Eaton Associates identified as a surveyor with Randall E. Eisler's signature and a surveyor's stamp dated July 6, 2026. Locust, North Arrow, and abutters also noted. And none of the rest of us had any questions.
I don't have any
but-
questions. This was great.
And because we were missing that, what we had to do was do a negative vote.
Yeah.
So, but now we're amended, unless there's any further discussion.
Well, I have a question for the surveyor for my own edification. And that is that the original Mylar had the underneath the signature block, had the block where it says, for reference to locust, see land of da-da-da-da with the book and the page. And Doug pointed that out to us afterwards, and I was wondering, is that a surveyor's type of language that says this is the owner? When you say for reference to locust, what does that mean?
Yes, sir. So the locus is the property we're surveying. And so the deed reference for that and the ownership is in that box. Sometimes typically we just put the deed reference, and we thought that we would kill two birds with one stone and put the owner's name and address in that box as well, but that didn't meet the standards of the board here. But to answer your question, yes, that is the deed reference for the parcel being surveyed, it being shown to you on this plan.
And the term for reference to locust, is that recognized in the surveying arena as being a common phrase that points to ownership?
Well, it refers you to the deed.
Okay.
So, if you look at the deed, it'll tell you who the owner is, but we put all that information in that box. So reference to locust, see this deed. I mean, typically, we wouldn't say see land of Shelterwood Management, we would just say see book 12444, page 208.
Okay.
And then that's typical. And it does get a little confusing when you put for reference, see land of Shelterwood Management, but the deed is the important thing in that box.
Okay, thank you.
I was confused because I was assuming it was the fact that it's a business name rather than a personal name.
Private.
As in the case where we have 5 individual offspring of the owner on the one we've just been looking at.
Okay. Thank you.
Anytime.
Okay, so if we don't have any further discussion, I move to endorse the amended ANR for Shelterwood Management LLC as shown on the plan dated July 6, 2026. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Mike Hoffler. Any further discussion? Hearing none, let's, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, so 4-0-0 in favor.
Thank you,
So-
Randy.
You are welcome. If I may, I'm looking at the deed for the Bronner property. And, I see there's a 50-acre tract, a 10-acre tract, and a 3-acre tract. And their description is terrible. So I don't know where the town came up with 5 acres. And, I'll do something to make it look reasonable, but there's no way I'm gonna get it exact. And I'll try to make it look like the assessor's map just for ease of looking at it and matching up the parcel numbers. At the end of the day, it's not gonna matter because it's all going into one piece anyhow. So I'll do the best I can.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, have a good night, folks.
You too.
We need to sign the
Right. I need to get the- I'll send that Mylar down to you two first. Thank you. So we are okay. All right. You're all set with that. Let's just roll this up so it doesn't get smushed. Okay, so next on our agenda is a discussion of Woodland Lane. And Doug, is that something you want to start with, or shall we
Well,
invite Linda to?
I think we have two interested parties here. In short, we had a little bit of rain last week and the water piled up. And so we just need to get the drainage working again properly. Have you all read or seen the video and all that? Yeah.
Yes,
So
yeah.
you're aware of the situation. Who wants to speak?
Oh, it's Andre's thing.
Come down and,
Come on down.
Good.
Well, good evening, everyone, and first of all, thank you for inviting me. About that matter, what the doc just mentioned, yes, it was bad rain. I believe it was almost 4.5 inches not in 24 hours, in less than 12 hours. Yet, I have to admit it, I should be more accurate with the cleaning of those manholes. And I was a little bit busy. I should do it last fall. I did not. I do apologize for that, but immediately it happens on a Saturday, Monday morning, we clean all of them. They clean, I got a picture of what we done, If anybody wanna stop and look at, I can pop out the grease, show it perfectly clean as a brand new. Before even when it was the bad rains, while it was clean, everything works fine. It's just over the winter, sand, mud, so, but, long story short, we clean it, everything fine, everything good. We also clean it completely, area surrounding, there is 2 discharge ponds. We clean the one on the front, which is most important. The second one, we are working on it, and we are building there. So once everything surround foundation finished, we will completely prepare that access road again. Other than that, well, that's all, you know. So if anybody any questions, you know.
So, if you don't mind.
No, please.
You came before us and you said, I want to put in a subdivision. And it was designed so that the current amount of, the existing amount of rainfall, water, discharge, et cetera, would be no different before or after all of the work that you did. That's what all of the engineering work was about. That was what we went to Ty and Bond and had them confirm the calculations on the infiltration and all the flows and everything. And that's premised upon it being properly maintained and properly functioning. And as a board, we're saying to the citizens of Belchertown, to the neighbors down the street, that there will not be any change in the amount of water leaving this property before or after all this pavement goes in and all these houses are built and everything that's done. But that's predicated upon you doing your job and doing the maintenance and keeping it operational and functional. And to come by after the rain and after we flooded somebody's front yard and say, well, I fixed it now, doesn't do them any good. So I'm a little concerned about you know, sitting here and saying, well, I could have, I should have, I didn't, doesn't help them with their flooded front yard. And our job is to look out for the entire town and make sure that when it's designed, it's designed right. And this one was. Engineers say it was. It should have worked, but there's a whole maintenance procedure that you didn't comply with. And that's where I have a problem, okay? You're gonna ask at some point in time for the town to take ownership of this road, take ownership of these systems, and they've gotta be absolutely perfect and pristine and working right when you turn it over. But in the meantime, they have to be maintained and they have to be functioning right even before the town takes ownership. And that's where you've fallen down, okay? And it should not take a point of flooding people's property and videos and all the nasty phone calls that they get to come back and say, well, I'll fix it. It should never have broken in the first place, I guess is what I'm saying, all right? You've been a good developer in my mind. You've worked with us, you've been cooperative, you've been communicative. But here I'm seeing some problems in terms of follow-through. So I know I'm beating up on you, but it's our job to look out, okay?
No, I got you, and I'm gonna say very simple. You're right, I did mistake.
All right.
I accept that, I fix it, I watch it for a few years before. It's well, I'm not trying to defend myself.
I know it was
It's
an
my
unprecedented,
first mistake, you know.
I know it was an unprecedented amount of rain. I mean, there were a lot of places that had difficulty handled, but this is one that was engineered properly.
And if I would maintain properly, it would not be the issue. So it's not engineering, it's not the people who build it, I should be more careful, and like I said, well,
All right.
it was my first mistake, and I hope
It's,
it will be my last, you know, so that's what I can say, you know. Am I gonna try to find argument? Yeah, but you know, no.
concerning to me was that these required maintenance and inspections twice a year, so it wouldn't have just been a winter. If someone were coming to inspect on the schedule they should, then it would have been caught before it was a problem. There was another note in here that was concerning also, which had to do with the punch list of things that have not been dealt with since 2024. Is that something that you can speak to, Linda, or?
Yep. I appreciate Andre going out and vacuuming, but that actually is not the real problem. The punch list that you have in front of you
Yeah.
for 2024, I did go out today and did a site visit. The real concern that I have is the infiltration basins have not been maintained. So, and they were holding water today. We haven't had rain for days. The infiltration basins are built to infiltrate water in 72 hours. So what happened, I think, was we had that big rains, we had 4.5 inches, 5 inches, 6 inches. Then the basins, and they overflowed that day. We were out there making sure that the culvert under Bardwell was not blocked. It was a little bit blocked, but the water running out from that infiltration basin was crazy water. It was being handled. The next rainstorm, within 5 days, just blew, and that's because that infiltration basin was still full. It hadn't receded. There's woody vegetation growing in it. It's full of cattails. It's actually quite lovely.
You mean
There's
it-
purple ironwood growing in there, but that's not what an infiltration basin is supposed to look like. It's very different than a detention basin. And in order to maintain it, it has to be mowed and inspected and cleaned. The number, like you say, Mike, the calculations that initially made this whole thing work was water was to infiltrate. It wasn't to be detained and overflow. Some of your subdivisions do that. It was to hold the water and infiltrate it back into the ground. And if that's not gonna happen, this whole system doesn't work. In 2024, there was a generator in the basin further in. It was there today. The vegetation is, of course, much bigger and even more compacted. Cattails are a native species, but that matted root system is completely embedded in the bottom of these basins. And to bring them back to what they're supposed to look like is gonna take some money and it's gonna take some engineering. And I really think that Lebec Associates is gonna need to be consulted on how to bring these basins back to where they were originally, where they should be, and where the town needs, where they need to be in order for the DPW to take over, further maintenance.
So that part has not been cleaned. It's
No,
so-
and that is the big concern. I mean, I appreciate the vacuuming of the catch basins. And in 2024, they had 12 to 15 inches of debris in there. So that's great.
It's only-
That certainly contributed to the water not getting in. But what was overflowing out of that basin next to Bardwell was crazy water. And
So do we need to basically have Levesque come back in here and say, this almost has to start from scratch? Here's what needs to be done to get it to be an infiltration basin.
Can I explain something?
I would recommend that.
She's right, there's some, let's call grass, that grow in that bowl. So, and after that rain, yes, it was the lots of water, and what we are doing, and actually why in the second one you saw the pump, I cannot clean the bottom of the bowl unless the water out. And we there right now every single, except Sunday, every single day. The lower water go, we keep cleaning, and we will clean it. And it was built like 5-6 years ago, and there was many rains. It worked perfect, and it will work perfect once I will get to the bottom and clean it that thick grass.
So are you?
So that's my, I try to win over the weather. It's been fine, well, pretty much fine for the last few days. Let's say, I'm just saying the water was to that level. Have water gone, I clean it. Little more water gone, and I'm not coming back in 3 weeks or 2 months. Like I said, and I mean it, every day people there. The water go down, we keep cleaning. Once we will clean it, it works before for a few years. I'm assuming it will continue to work. Why it doesn't work? Well, because the grass.
So it seems,
Well, go ahead.
I was going to say, it seems as though you're proposing having Levesque come in and deal with it.
I think what I'm hearing is you want a chance to bring it back to its
Yes,
correct
yes.
correct
And like I
design
said-
and workings.
Yeah, and
But at that point, I would like somebody to come in and say, yes, it does in fact perform the way it's supposed to. It's one thing for you to clean it, but it's another thing for somebody to say to us, yes, it will infiltrate the water at the rate it's supposed to, down into the ground, rather
I
than filling.
But if-
I can invite them to check and do it, but again, for me to invite Levex or the town come back again, like I said, I need to clean it.
Right.
And
But-
that's what I'm doing, I'm fighting every day to do that.
Is your,
And as another proof, like I said, once, if it's built, let's say it's built in 2000, and it doesn't work in 2000, it doesn't work in 2001, it doesn't work in 2002, then yes, I agree it's need review to do something. It was built in 2000, worked fine in 2000, worked fine in 2001, 2021, 2022. So what's happened now, I need to clean it.
but is your system of cleaning the right one? Because what happens if it rains, if we have another big rainstorm over the weekend? I mean, how much time can we give?
Can I?
Please.
So the emergency overflow in both basins is so blocked with woody vegetation that it didn't even function. There was no emergency overflow. If there was no water going over the emergency overflow, it was going straight through the lower overflows. And that's not how the basin's supposed to work, not in these kinds of storms. But so the water isn't going where it's supposed to go. When I was there today, that front basin was mowed around it, but there was no cleaning happening in the basin. In order to, and I agree with Andre, you gotta, it's full of water. I have pictures today, it is literally full of water. The inflow is there's no water
No.
to come in, it's full of water. So if the town is gonna consider taking this system, I would not be comfortable unless there was some engineer that could help reclaim it and then certify that it is functioning properly.
So I guess I want to circle back to the inspections, all right? So the inspections, when were they done? By whom? Were they never done?
No, they don't. Like I said, I did it, and I did it every year, and we clean it every year. I did not clean this spring.
Some of these say 4 times per year, twice per year.
That's what I'm saying, spring and fall.
The basins are in exact same, worse than what my email has in 2024. So I can tell you that there's been nothing done in those infiltration basins for 2 years. There's a generator that someone tossed into the basin. It's not supposed to be there. It's disposed of. And that was my comment in 2024, it's still sitting there. The vegetation has just gotten bigger. So whether Andre was doing these inspections before, and it's easy to get it built and then, watch it work well for 2 years and then forget about it while you're doing, other things. So I haven't seen the inspection report. I asked for them in 2024. I haven't received anything, and I know for a fact, for 2 years at least, nothing's been happening over there.
Do we ever audit these inspections, the town? I'm just asking.
I don't know, this is your subdivision approval, your O&M approved plan. I have asked for inspection reports. And even with the new subdivision, I'm asking, I don't know if it was a practice, but it's something that if we know by the time we take the subdivision over that it was actually maintained properly, we need reports.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's kind of implicit in the subdivision approval, but, also the whole stormwater approval. So, we want these things. I don't know if we can force somebody to do on private property, except for the threat of saying, well, we're never gonna take your road from you. So I don't know how to sort of force that.
It was agreed upon.
Yeah, it
by
was
the
agreed
developer.
upon, yeah.
So,
Well, regardless, like I said, give me a chance, let me clean it, let me take care of that, and I'm here to give me a little time so I can clean it and fix it.
Is that doable? I mean, it sounds,
I don't know. That's why I'm asking for a professional to come in and assist Andre on these decisions. It looks like it needs to be fully excavated down below and then material brought back in. And then it,
Start over.
replanted and
Yeah.
reseeded. Yes, like that's what I see. I could be totally wrong, but it's in tough shape. They're
So-
both in tough shape.
I guess what I want us to not forget, so you've got a list here from 2024, 14 items. And the first thing I would like to ask is a formal written from you to us on these 14 items. What is the status right now of all 14? Have they been done? And if they haven't been done, what is the action plan to get them done? And when will they be done? A commitment in writing on getting these 14 resolved.
Okay?
Second from that, specifically on the infiltration basins, I don't see a problem giving you some time to get working on them, but we need to have an independent Levesque or Time Bond or somebody come in and say, based on this, I've inspected it and here is the path going forward. The path may be, oh, Andre, you've done a great job, it works great, everything's done. Or the path may be, you've done a great job, but it's, the roots have so enmesh themselves in the ground, it'll never infiltrate water. So we need to excavate down 6 inches a mile of whatever it is, I don't know. But
you-
what I'm asking for is to have an independent set of eyes.
Now.
Sign off.
Or
I will-
after
I would
he's
give him,
given,
I would give him a chance to clean up what he's got so that the eyes can see what's really down there is where I'm going by.
And by the way, from that list, to be balanced and fair, the biggest, the problem that was with the open, that area,
Yeah,
did I fix it there?
you did. It's
Expensive?
beautiful. Well, you told me so, but yes.
It was very, very expensive, more than one of us cars.
Number 13.
So my point,
is
I
taken
do
care of.
working. When I said I will fix it, I can prove it. I got record that when I was asked to do something serious, major, yeah, maybe some little things, again, I put the sign, okay, some plans here, there, minor, but on the big issues, I just want to say for record, when I promised, I did it, and I did it perfect, and it was cost me lots of money.
how did
I
it,
mean, a lot.
how did it come to happen that it needed to be an expensive fix?
Because it wasn't inspected like it was supposed to.
Or-
What you talking about?
You said it was very expensive to make this fix, and I'm asking, how did
Because
it get to the
It was the
state?
empty land, and it's still my land, and I'm not allowed to build there, but it's my land, and I had so many stumps, and I just dig the hole, and I put there dozens of stumps. Not in the wetland, on the normal land, on the regular land. Then I find out from the town, they said, well, when the time will come to give us this land and everything, it's not gonna work. Well, guess what? I hired Wagner, they clean it all stumps, everything, they clean it perfectly, everything. And then, I put almost 100 loads of it. You figure out how much that cost. And then we plant the grass, and now it's smooth, perfect land.
It will stay that way?
I was there today.
Okay.
It's a lovely meadow. There was a meadow mix put out there, so yes, that is taken
Okay.
care of. And Andre did a very good job of rectifying that issue.
And like I said, I will clean it here, it's just, well, the water there. You know, what, as much as water drying, I keep cleaning, and I'm doing, and I will win this fight, but I need little time.
So,
Am I saying something? No, like I said, I'm gonna repeat it again, that's how my father brought me. If I'm wrong, I'm not gonna argue. Yeah, forgive my language, the camera, I screwed up, but I'll fix it. I'll fix it.
So roughly, how quickly do you think, and I know it's a question of the water and all of that, but how quickly do you think you'll get these in a position where you can say to somebody, come in, take a look, and tell me that this works, or tell me what I need to do to make it right?
If it's not gonna be another 5 inches, 4 inches at night,
Right.
I would say 3 weeks.
Okay.
If it's gonna be another 5 inches, first of all, we already cleaned it enough. I doubt if the water will go on the street or something. So that's already taken care of. Now, to make the systems work perfectly, I would say 3 weeks of a dry weather. I mean, looks like it's not gonna be tomorrow, but I'm just saying if it's on a Friday will be 5 inches, then 3 weeks from Friday, so. But
Here's what I'm gonna ask for, and the board may agree or may not agree, but here's what I'm gonna ask for. Number one is a written response on the 14 items of where they are and any that aren't done, what your action plan is and when it'll be completed. Secondly, I'm gonna ask for you to come back to the board every month and give us an update on where you are in terms of these infiltration basins, and every month come back until we can get a sign off that these are in fact performing the way they're supposed to. And then after that, the every 6-month inspections, it looks like we're gonna need to see a written statement from you that you've followed the operating and maintenance plan.
And a written record of the
Written record of,
inspections, so that
on
when
this
it,
date, the inspection was done, I did it, this guy did it, I don't, you know? But it was inspected, every 6 months, the ones that are required, et cetera. So, I mean, that's what I'm looking for, is some documentation from you and some periodic reporting back to us that this is ongoing, because
I
we can't be
agree.
flooding people.
I agree with you. I can do that. One technical thing, once the snow, everything what you said, I will do before 6 inches of snow. And then the next report after, I'm just saying after April 1st or something.
well, hope,
That makes sense.
since you guessed 3 weeks, let's hope we don't have 6 inches of snow
No,
by then.
no, he
But-
said do it, and then he said every month send it report. And I agree to do that, but not to argue, but just to get like a technical point, not through the winter. But before the late fall, yes, definitely I will do that.
Every month on the infiltration basins, your progress, the status, until we get to the point where they are performing the way they're supposed to be performing.
Yes, sir.
And hopefully that will be before the snow flies,
Yeah, hope so.
okay?
And,
After that, then every 6 months, showing that you are complying with the maintenance and operating documents that you submitted.
I agree.
and where does the DPW fit in this, what, the plan that you're suggesting?
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Well,
I
and
mean,
would
what
there be
I was
oversight?
told Is that these basins are reclaimed and operate. You get the verification, the certification, and when town meeting comes about and I need to make sure that that system is operating, then I know it is.
It-
However you want to go about it, I just need to know they're reclaimed and they're functioning.
Yeah, I don't think it's DPW's
Jo-
job
no,
to look
but-
over his shoulder, and
But
and I
I'm
don't
not-
want to put that on him. But before we sign off on this, yes,
Yeah.
DPW will be doing a
Give me
final.
another punch list.
Right,
punch list,
right,
yeah.
because,
Nothing on it.
Yeah,
So for some clarity, he's gonna get his 3 weeks, and Levesque is gonna go back in there and look at this property again? I wanna be clear on what we're doing.
right,
In 1 month, he's gonna come back and he's gonna say, I am 80% done, and I've talked to Levesque, and they're gonna schedule somebody for 3 weeks from now. Or he's gonna come back in 1 month and say, it's a lot harder than I thought, it's gonna be another month before I can get somebody in there to tell me what it will take to get it back performing correctly.
so,
And every single month, I want him to come in here and say to us, here's what I've done, here's where I am in getting it brought back to snuff.
so it seems like in a month, he should be at our next meeting.
Yeah.
But based
That's
on
what I'm
you
asking
just said.
for.
Okay.
Yep.
Right, so in a month, he says, it's not good enough, I need more time. Another month goes by, it's not good enough, I need more time. How many months are we talking before Levesque gets into that property? I want clarity on that. We can get 6 inches of rain tomorrow, right? And if it's not ready, we're gonna have the same
It
problem.
will be worse.
I don't have an answer,
Well, let's get one right now then.
okay? What would you like?
I don't go longer than 3 months.
Before you insist that a
That
third
Levesque is
party-
in there,
Yeah.
or whoever is in there checking this system. Do you think that's fair?
Sounds good.
I mean, look, if it's ready sooner, great.
Great.
Right? Great for everybody. But we have to have some kind of cutoff to where,
And he's right.
It's just not working.
Sooner, I will be happy to make a noise and tell everybody, then it's done.
Okay.
So 90 days then.
There it is.
90 days.
Good Lord, where is it?
I have told Andre, the town is happy to take over the maintenance of the road and the stormwater system. The road is beautiful. It's barely 3 years old. It'd be nice to take a subdivision that didn't need,
Yeah.
repaving. So I'm happy to work with you all and Andre. I know.
So am I doing good work or bad work?
Your road is beautiful. It's in good shape. I would love to take a subdivision that has basically a brand new road that we've got, 15 or 20 years on, not negative
Yeah.
3. But, you've heard me, you've heard what I am looking for, and I appreciate it. Thank you, Andre, for working with me on this too.
And like I said, I know we kind of came to conclusion, but seriously, from engineering point, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work today. If you take your car to shop, they change transmission, if it doesn't work today. If it's worked good tomorrow and day after and 3 days after and 3 months after, and if it works, that's mean the job was done right. If it doesn't work in 2 years, that's mean bad guy like me did not change oil.
I was just going to say, but you've got to be changing the oil all
I
along the
agree,
way.
and that's what I came here, I said, look, I'm not, I'll fix it.
Okay.
So,
But it does work, that system worked, and the proof of that, not me, not paperwork, life. It's been there for 5 years, and it wasn't the issues before, they didn't flood it before.
using.
But
using
there was a
your-
punch list
you-
2 years ago.
Using your analogy, the engine worked fine, we changed the oil, everything was great, then we forgot and we didn't change the oil. And the engine seized up. Just changing the oil after the engine seized up doesn't do you any good. And that's what I want to make sure we don't do here, is just, well, I've got it pumped out and I mowed it. I want somebody to come back and say, the engine has been freed up and all of the bad parts have been replaced and it now runs the way it's supposed to.
Makes sense, I agree.
Okay?
Yeah.
And that's what we're looking for here.
See you in a month. Right?
Months or 3 months.
Well, the 3 months is the
Deadline.
time to get somebody else
And I
in.
will definitely,
Here.
right away, sometimes this week, next week, I will respond. Yes,
Okay?
that I got it. And I don't mind to be here in a month, I'm just giving it clearly.
In a month, you're gonna come back and tell us where you are,
Sure.
what you've accomplished, and what needs to be done.
I have no
So that's-
problem.
For
I'm
three,
gonna-
and 3 months is by the deadline for
Right.
getting this.
No,
Yeah,
I'll
okay.
be here in a month.
September 8th.
Yeah, that's right, September 8th.
Are we good, Len?
I think so, yes.
Good luck.
One little question. Around October 10, 12, wherever that meeting will be, I cannot be at that meeting. I can be before or after. I just know my family life, my schedule, so I don't want you to feel that I show up once and then ignore or something. I'm telling you right now, beginning of October.
Well, maybe,
If it will be October 3rd, 5th, yes, I can. October 8th to October 20, I will be not available.
well,
Maybe
maybe,
for that one, just submit a written.
or if you,
Yeah.
maybe, but in this September 8th meeting, you'll have a better sense of how things are going and whether or
I
not,
just wanna
and we'll-
let know in advance,
we'll talk about the next time at that meeting.
Okay. Well,
Thank you.
thank you for trusting me so far. I'll try to fix that problem.
Thank you.
It's all right.
Thank you, Andre.
Thank you.
Okay. So Doug, I think it's your turn.
Are we talking about zoning next?
Yeah.
Schedule of use.
Yes, I brought this up last time, and so what I've done is I've gone through the schedule of uses and highlighted some of my suggestions for the industrial zone. Now, remember that we have 3 industrial zones in town. One of them is occupied, that's Harris Way, that's built out. We have the one off Springfield Road that has Culpeper and a solar project, and the rest is still owned by the original family, and it's mostly wetland, and so it's not a viable building location. And we have this one in the very center of the village, in the deep south end of town. The Palmer side of the village got redeveloped, just because after the big mill fire in 1968, they automatically got CDBG money, federal money, because they were considered part of the Springfield metropolitan area. Belchertown wasn't. So it took another 30 years at least before we were even able to get the National Guard to knock down the smokestack. And a lot of the old debris is still there.
Where is that?
If you go to, the grog shop, just before you
Yep.
hit the bridge
Oh,
on
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
left,
Okay.
you park, there's a walking path.
Yep, got it, yep.
Yeah, that's where the mill was, it straddled the river. It's quite an impressive ruins. My dad drove us by there the day after the fire. Wow, look at that. And anyway, so that being right in the center of a village like that, I think is an opportunity for things that are not necessarily manufacturing oriented. And what prompted this is we have this one company that wants to locate sort of a boutique fitness center there. Not like Planet Gym or something like that, but more customized training sorts of things. They have a spot, they want to move in.
It's an empty
Empty-
vacant building?
Yeah, part of the building, and part of it's occupied. And I think, boy, that could revive that whole little neighborhood down there if we could find more small, opportunities for more small businesses to go in there. So just going through the business uses, I looked at it and I thought, well, maybe this by special permit, not necessarily just allow it, but others I thought, could be by right, even, if somebody wanted to invest in that building and clean it up to some suitable standard for a business, why not? The Ludlow mills are being rebuilt, and years ago they had viable businesses going in there, and now it's a huge redevelopment. It's like one of the biggest ones in the state. And we've seen what's happened in other towns. Ware has a little activity in its mill. East Hampton is totally.
Quite a bit.
About that, how does East Hampton and Ludlow get that, where we're struggling to get?
Well, East Hampton had at least one major private investor who put in millions. And other than that, they, because of their urbanness or a particular location and circumstances, their income levels and everything else, they qualified for a lot more grants and just getting what used to be available as federal money dumped into them to revive these things and support small businesses. And so they've been able to clean up these buildings and remediate any of the hazardous stuff, and they've turned them into apartments and shops and breweries and daycare and everything else.
Are they more substantial buildings in terms of scale and?
They're bigger,
Yeah, that-
much bigger, but therefore much more expensive and difficult to renovate. And so, yeah, we have these two buildings, and I think it's a good opportunity that, we ought to be able to find ways to reuse those buildings and generate a little business activity in there. Why should Palmer have all the fun?
Yeah.
This change that you're proposing, would be a change in all industrial locations, not
It
just
would.
that area.
I would.
So it would apply in Harris Way,
Yep,
and it would apply at Springfield.
yep.
Do we anticipate any other places in Belchertown that might become zoned industrial? We're looking at revamping
Yep.
the zoning map.
Yes.
And and I'm thinking like, parcel D that EDIC has,
Mm-hmm.
or I don't know, are there any other places in town that might become industrial, and therefore, what we're proposing today would apply in the future to them?
If we left it at that, what I'm thinking is this is stopgap.
Okay.
And when it comes to our bigger, full rezoning project, I think what we can do with this is maybe isolate this section and come up with a different sort of zone for it, like a village renewal, I don't know, some kind of overlay.
For
the southern
So-
industrial
Yeah,
section?
yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Because it is fundamentally different from Harris Way,
Yeah.
for example.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and, so I think we can look at the map during that project and say, okay, here's a concept we can use, we can have this kind of, village business overlay district, if we wanted to leave it industrial, but then alter it somehow, but, I mean, in short notice, this is probably the thing we could do.
All right. The second comment that I have, and this is more for the board than it is for you, is that under the plan approval process, if we say it's plan approval, we're basically saying they have the right to do it.
Yeah.
They have it by right.
Yeah,
Our only choices as a planning board when someone comes before us for a plan approval is either approve it the way it is,
yeah,
approve it with conditions, or say, well, your application isn't complete, I need more
yeah,
information.
or we don't like it, go back and start over,
But what we really can't say is, well, I don't like the idea of you're doing this here.
Right, that's correct.
Okay, so it's a kind of a by right, once we say planning approval only.
Yeah.
I mean, plan approval only. We're kind of giving pre-approval by right that they can go ahead and do it, so long as they meet our conditions.
Yeah,
Well, I mean.
And that's just for us to consider as we look at the changes that you've proposed.
yeah,
In another way of looking at it is that any kind of development that's on this list of things is going to be much less extreme change than something that was actually manufacturing.
Correct. From
I mean, this is,
influence on the community.
and the character,
Right.
the safety, et cetera. This seems like, it could make
More
the,
innocuous.
well, or having looked through our next discussion thing, more in line with the sorts of things this group is hoping to have in town.
yeah,
Okay. Those are my only two comments.
yeah, and you're correct. So, I need to submit this, well, we need to schedule and advertise the public hearing, but I need to send this over to the select board for their, referring it back to you for a public hearing.
So then we have a public hearing and vote, and then put it towards
And then
the
it-
agenda,
Yeah, and that goes to town
for
meeting.
the warrant, I mean.
So we still have opportunities to change it before we finalize what goes to town meeting, so.
I would like to add one other thing to your list, though, and that is on the number 19. Commercial parking areas and garages. And I'm thinking specifically down in that neck of the woods, that if, in fact, we get an east-west rail with a
yeah.
depot in the with a terminal in the Palmer area,
Yeah,
that a park and ride type of commercial parking lot might be a possibility, and that would,
park on the roof, businesses below.
I'm not gonna design it, but now, that one maybe is a special permit PA,
Yep,
rather than just a straight PA.
yeah.
But I would like to throw that on the list of considerations for possibilities.
You meant number 39, correct?
Oh, I'm sorry, 39, you are
Okay.
correct. What did I say?
19.
Oh, I'm
19,
sorry,
I was gonna
30
say restaurants?
No, 39, commercial
Okay.
parking areas and garages. That would be one that I would,
Yeah,
Is the east-west rail enough beyond concept to know whether or not it would be, the station would be in Palmer or in Belchertown?
yeah, they've selected a proposed site in Palmer.
So that would probably be the place
Yeah,
where the
they're not
park and
gonna
ride
put-
would go.
They're not gonna put the depot in Belchertown.
the odds are probably greater than 50, but I wouldn't,
Anyway.
I don't know what the
if-
timing would be
If
either,
you're
you know.
doing a park and ride, you probably want to be close to getting on the train,
Yeah,
geographically closer.
yeah, yeah. So I think if that becomes a commuter stop, then we will see development in that end of town.
And probably of the kind you're imagining.
Yeah, so,
Sounds good to me.
anyway, yeah, I'll go ahead and send that board a memo and get the process started. And as you think of changes, you know, we can have things worked out for the public hearing and go from there. Thank you.
So I don't think you get to stop yet, because the next thing on the agenda is discussing the quad board meeting.
Well, from my understanding, what's going to happen is that your chair will introduce you. So there's going to be, let me see, the groups invited, Planning Board, EDIC, Select Board, and Creative Economy Committee. So trying to bring this whole economic development picture together and coordinate it. So yeah, each chair of each board is going to say, "This, I'm so-and-so, blah, 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 nice to meet you," and all this. And then Jackie included in your package the marketing study results that was done. Then we have the cultural district designation and gather space. That's something the Creative Economy Committee has been working on for several years. And we had hired last year a consultant to work as the cultural district manager, and the state stopped doing their program for designating districts. This year it's back on, and we just recently contracted with a different private person to be the cultural district manager. And so that process is going to be continuing to get the state designation, which is a little bit of publicity and minor amounts of funds for, you know, if you want to stage a show or do some publicity or promotion of some sort. But it's sort of a, you know, a mark of honor to say, to refer to your official cultural district. And so that's going to happen. They want me to talk about our zoning study and what we're doing, so I'm going to have to think about that, and, you know, making fancy presentations isn't my strength. I usually just kind of wing it, and that's not always going to be what people are looking for. But you need me to do a roast or something, I can usually come up with. And then I guess it's going to be a free-form wish list of businesses. Let's fantasize about what we would love to see in Belchertown. That's wide open, I would think.
Yeah,
I think people have determined they don't want a prison. There was that fight.
How about AI?
Decades ago, yeah. They don't want any humongous buildings that suck up all their energy. But I think, yeah, the next thing on the agenda, barriers to business development, the big looming one is water. And, you know, if we don't increase our withdrawal, if the water district isn't able to increase the withdrawal, can't get the permit number raised, then that kind of stops a lot of stuff. And,
Is that based on existing wells? And if you're looking at new well sites, does that alter it?
I think it is a limitation, a flat limitation.
Regardless of what
This-
sources you
yeah,
might
this
have?
is- Yeah, so, you know, why bother drilling a new well, which the district wants to do? They might not be allowed to, because, well, you're already at your withdrawal limit, which we're not, but, you know, how are you gonna expand what a new well would do? And that's a lot, and they're basing a lot of this on the droughts and just the general, I think, hydrology of the, what's down there.
Well, it's a real rock and a hard place if they're urging us to try to build more housing.
Oh, yeah. You know, but this is public water supplies, so, private wells can still be drilled anywhere. So, you know, that kind of contradicts or counters the effort to create denser, more village-type development and protect farms and forests. Yeah, and so there are all these conflicting things coming from over there in the east, that,
Who's taking all of our water anyway?
I'll go over there with straws and sip out of the pond, siphon it. Yeah, so anyway, those are the things that are gonna be discussed. So you can be thinking about that if you haven't seen the agenda. We can send or resend it.
I think
You got it.
it's in our packet, and I got most of the way through.
Is the public going to be at this meeting, or is it?
Well, it's gonna be posted by all four boards, so certainly they can lurk.
Will it be here or?
I think it is intended to be in this building, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Not sure where.
Town Hall Auditorium is what it
Oh,
says,
okay.
but there's an asterisk.
Yeah.
Oh, that's for the remote.
So there you go, yeah, in the auditorium. They'll probably have a big circle for the chairs, and you have to sit next to people you don't know. Tell them something, turn to the person to your right, and,
Something interesting about it.
yeah, yes,
That nobody would have known?
Yeah,
yeah, you've been in the
Oh.
business world, you know.
I've done those two.
Or at the UMass World did it too.
So, anyway, yeah, anyway, that's kinda it. And apparently they want it to be an ongoing activity, because then the last item is establish next meeting.
So if as we're reading this, we have questions, should we be asking you the questions? If there was something about filtering things.
Yeah, I mean,
Through you.
filter things through me. We also now have Eric Weiss, who has just started this week. Today was his first full day. He is our economic development assistant planner.
Oh.
He sits in my room. You were there today, but,
I saw him yesterday.
oh, okay, whenever you were there, doesn't matter. And he's well experienced, and when we interviewed him, we said, yeah, let's just hire Eric. You know, he's been around for a long time. He's been on, he was chair of the school committee for several years. He's been on other town committees. He was on the Jessica's Playground Committee.
Do you have something to do with PVC?
He did work at PVPC, and now he's basically doing private consulting, and he saw this sweet little gig in his hometown and decided it might work for him. And he'll certainly work more than 15 hours a week, because that's what he got hired for. And he knows that, and he's willing to do it because he loves the town, so. I think we'll be in good hands.
So I guess for me, the one overriding question before we get into what should we do would be what kind of a town do we want to have?
Yeah, well, that's the question of the master plan. of the community plan.
That to me is the,
Yeah.
you know, do we want it to be a tourist town, a retirement town,
Restaurants seem to be very important.
well, you know, maybe we want it to be an engineering town, you know?
Maybe, yeah.
Nothing but Silicon Valley type people. What kind of a town do we want it to be? Anyway,
Well, some people want it to be what it was in 1965.
correct.
Yeah.
But to me, that's, we need to
I'm
kind of
willing-
have that
we
discussion
kinda
up
got-
front.
Oh, yeah, we gotta go forward, because that's the only way we can go. And things are changing. This town has changed enormously in the last 20 years. The whole culture has changed in a lot of ways. You know, because younger people are now, you know, in their adult years, and they have different ideas, and we've had a lot of people move in.
3 times as many people here
Yeah,
as
and-
there were when we moved in.
Yeah, and, you know, in terms of, you know, do we want to be a retirement town? We're not really choosing that, we're just becoming that in a lot of ways, you know, because people like it here.
But as a town, we can influence
Yeah,
whether or not we make it enticing
yes,
to retire here,
yeah,
or enticing to have little children here, or
Yeah.
enticing to have tourists here.
or a mix, ideally, but yeah. You know, people always say they want restaurants, coffee shops and stuff. Well, you gotta go there and do
Spend your
business
money.
with, spend your money there.
Yeah.
You know, how many times I've heard people say, oh, it's just outrageous, this local business is going out of business. You know, and, well, did you ever shop? Well, you know, I go to Big Y, you know, I work in Chicopee, so I do, you know, it's like,
But the more Airbnbs we have, the more ADUs that we build, the more tourists would be here to
Yes.
go to the coffee shops and to go to
Well,
the.
Without
That's
having to
exactly
go through
right.
the building a giant hotel that
Without-
might,
So,
or might
so
not
we
work.
could influence.
yes, we can, and that's the argument I've been making, and that's the argument Mass Development makes when, you know, they said, well, we gotta put some housing in here, because that's where the money is. You're not gonna have customers for businesses if you don't have people
Right.
here.
So, there was something that really caught my attention, and I wondered whether you had any information. There's talking about recapturing resident spending currently leaking to neighborhood towns, which struck me as odd. And is there some kind of way that they were able to measure that?
They-
Because I think it's probably, in the many years I've been here, I think there's a lot more local spending than there used to be.
Yeah, we used to not have a supermarket, but I've even run into people who live in Amherst, shopping in our Stop and Shop, because it's actually closer to them than.
Right.
And, you
I mean,
know,
I just questioned whether or not that was an accurate
but,
assessment.
well, the concept is accurate,
Yep.
certainly. Yeah, you know.
And there's different ways of measuring. So, like, in my day job, I work for a company that measures leakages from
Oh,
one region to another. So yes, so we have an idea of how different households spend their money. And then you can look at what entities exist locally. And then, so we have estimates of household expenditures by income type. And then, do those businesses exist locally? If they don't, then people are likely spending their money further afield.
So that might have always been the case because there weren't
Right.
these things
Right.
here.
Yeah.
That was the part that I,
Right, and, you know, if you look at what could be considered the Belchertown market area, it's, you know, the center of town, it's not a lot. because around the fringes, it's shorter for people to go to Palmer, to go to Ware, to go to Ludlow, Amherst, and then buy their groceries or whatever else they do there.
And there's no, I don't think there's anything wrong with having forest towns where
I
you.
mean, the economy of, like, Belchertown is an economy into itself, right? It's like, it's a part of
Part of the
a
region,
structure.
exactly.
And so, yes, like, could you measure it by, you know, is there leakage out of the south side of Belchertown? Well, yeah, because everything leaks out, because there's not a lot there. And so as you draw that circle bigger, you get less leakage.
Yeah.
You get more localized spending.
Yeah, and then, you know, part of the idea that I think we're looking at is trying to cause leakage from the other towns into Belchertown, basically. you know.
Poaching.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have this lovely restaurant across the street here, and I brought my friends who live in Hadley to it, and they've gone back several times without me. It's like, what, you didn't invite us? You had to drive right by our house.
Part of it though is to me is communication, that I'm sure there are people that will spend $3 in gas to go buy a hammer at Home Depot.
Yeah.
That's $1 cheaper
Yes, yeah.
than the one at Stadler Hardware.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's not even a dollar
Or
cheaper.
not even $1 cheaper.
Yeah,
But-
oh, there are
but-
those people, yeah.
But they'll spend $3 in gas to go get,
I'll spend $3 in gas just to go to that gas station that's 2 cents cheaper.
but, you know, there's, part of it is the education of the leakage.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the whole shop local
Yep.
Yeah.
type of communication.
Well, good, I'm glad you agree, we'll have Bjorn do the
Yeah,
planning work.
yes. You open your mouth. You're the expert now.
That's
I
right.
have so many questions.
I made the mistake.
I'm
of letting
spending my
people know he knows something.
I'm just thinking like how much of the leakage is me?
But,
I'm a nature.
and, if it's simply that you're conveniencing yourself as opposed to denying Belchertown
Yeah.
something,
Yeah,
you know,
well,
we
yeah,
don't have a movie theater here, and nobody yells at us for going to the Amherst Cinema or,
yeah.
Still have movie theaters.
okay, so we can, before the 24th, we can have questions
Yeah,
to you.
send them to me and I'll kind of figure out what I'm supposed to do with them. Yeah,
It's a little repetitive. This it took me a long time to get as far as I got, and I thought there was some repetition.
yeah, yeah. Well, consultants, you know.
Ah. Okay. So, I think I'm supposed to make us move on to the next thing. So, has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes? And make whatever changes? Channeling Dan here. No one had any changes? Okay. Figure out how I'm supposed to articulate this.
Make a motion to approve.
I make, gonna make a
Minutes of the da-da-da.
yes, I'm gonna make a motion to approve the minutes of the August, no, sorry. Sorry,
July 28th,
July 28th
no, did we meet? Yeah, we
meeting
did.
minutes as written,
I'll second.
seconded by Mike. Any further discussion?
No further discussion.
Hearing none, I'll bring it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye. So, 400, approved. Okay. Now it's your turn to
Do we
do
have any
your.
Bills?
Oh, we have no bills. Sorry,
Thank
I asked the question earlier and we have no bills.
She's ahead of you.
So,
Well, I already talked about Eric,
we talked about the zoning changes.
zoning, land use plan, we meet tomorrow and we'll kind of combine that project with the zoning project since we have the same person leading both. So that actually kind of works out better for us. So that's happening. The Lake Wallace Woods Trail is kind of stumbling through conservation review right now, and so we're not sure when that gets physically started, but I think they're on the September something conservation meeting, and our trail builder contractor is going to carry that whole project, so.
That's the part that includes the bridge for the snowmobile?
Snowmobile trail, yeah, the woods part that kind of goes up and down and up and down and around. And there's that project. What else is happening? A couple of conservation projects, the one off of Kimball Street. We've now, Kestrel has engaged, they're paying for the surveyor. So surveyor's gonna go up, do the bounds and provide a plan. And then once that's done, I think we are at the point of just piling up the money and buying it. And,
Thank you.
yeah, and so we got that grant from the state for 300 and some thousand. We have Mass Audubon pitching in 100 and, I can't remember the exact number, 150 or something like that. And Kestrel's gonna, find the rest and fill in the pot for us. And then we will own that, and Kestrel will hold a conservation restriction, which is an easement on that. And then we had a site visit to the property off Old Farm Road 2 weeks ago. And the person from the state who was with us came out to look at it, and she was quite positive about it. So we'll see however the deciders all work out. That's the one we also already have community preservation money for. And I think that scores highly in our favor. And then, Kestrel's promised to fill in that pot too, so. We'll Yeah, they've become, they have built quite a network of very fancy donors. I don't know who they are, and I don't care, I don't need to. It's not my business.
Well, success builds success, I
Yes,
guess.
exactly, and that's what's been working. So, those are coming along, and that's actually pretty important stuff. Because they're both, I think, pretty important properties for conservation values in terms of biomap and natural heritage, but also forest contiguity, and kind of goes from Quabbin to the Hoyoke Range, and we're filling in those gaps. So if, I think that provides opportunity for trails, and so as well as wildlife. So maybe our next project can be a wildlife bridge over Route 9. They're building some of those in California that are pretty impressive. I think the first big one was in Alberta, where they were, regularly getting elk mashed on the highway, and they built a bridge for them, and it's worked out quite well. So, so it protects animals, it protects people, it works all around. Anyway, that was just a digression. What else is going on? Energy coaching, a PVPC grant, and I forget which other towns, Granby, Ludlow, somebody else. I have this regional energy coaching thing, and so one of the things is our local energy and sustainability committee has been kind of leading this project. We'll have somebody who will coach you when, oh, gee, I want to get a heat pump. What are the rebates? How do I do the paperwork? That kind of stuff, because it's intimidating. I'm sort of a geek with these things, and it's like, I don't want to deal with it. It's better to hire somebody who does it all the time and knows the ins and outs. And so we're going to set up that program. And then there's also this separate part where there's going to be municipal, kind of reviewing municipal energy use of town buildings and stuff like that, and making recommendations how to become more efficient and take advantage of what incentives are out there, because the state and the utilities still have incentives, even if the federal ones dry up. So that's all good, good way to save money, breathe a little better. Head
So
down, I'm
that's,
done.
there's a grant, did you say?
Yeah, PVPC got a grant a couple years ago and is doing this stuff and subcontracting it out, that kind of stuff.
That's it?
That's all I can think of for now.
Go ahead.
I have no new material.
Nothing tonight.
I'm fine.
Nothing there.
Well, I have nothing to say either, so, shall I move that we adjourn the meeting?
I'll second.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.